Atma Namaste, precious one, and welcome to another Sunday succession with me, Avril Quadras. I want to start off with a little dilemma that I faced in my life. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever been through an ice cream dilemma? You know, you walk into a beautiful ice cream parlor, it's right where you want to be, and then you have this dilemma. Should I have a rocky road? Should I have a red velvet cheesecake? Should I have a sorbet? Should I have a fill in the blank? I've had this ice cream dilemma, and you know what happens? I end up usually ordering one scoop of everything, and I really don't enjoy anything. And why am I saying this to you? You'll find out in just a minute. Or sometimes I don't know what I want, and because of that, I don't get anything, and I miss out on the joys of enjoying even a single ice cream. Hang in there, it'll all make sense soon. Now, I'm going to explain the significance of that example in just a bit, and you'll understand it. But let me first welcome you, beautiful soul, to my channel, Life Architect. On this channel, we focus on not surviving, but on thriving. On this channel, I talk about everything that can elevate your life. I talk about things like ICF-style coaching, in which I'm certified, neuro-linguistic programming, somatic healing and energy therapy, positive psychology, in which I hold certifications. I talk about mindfulness and meditation. I've taught more than 3,000 hours of each. I'm certified in them too. And I'm a Kundalini Yoga certified teacher. And I talk about how to hone your life force prana using the principles of Kundalini Yoga. So we're talking about a mind, body, soul connection. So here, we learn to be the architect of our own life. So if you're ready to build your life the way you want, one brick at a time, then you are in the right place. Now remember that story I told you in the beginning? It relates to our subject today. What is our subject today? Our subject today is indecisiveness. Now, indecisiveness has been spoken about by every single personal development coach and the famous Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. He has a whole chapter to decision making. Now, indecisiveness is a mental state characterized difficulty of making choices and decisions. It's a form of hesitation or doubt that can arise from various factors, like the fear of making a mistake, lack of emotional turmoil. And this inability to decide can manifest in various aspects of our lives, like choosing a career path, deciding on a marriage partner, even picking what to eat for breakfast. The repercussions can range from minor inconveniences to significant life-altering delays. Haven't we all faced this? Now, while it's natural that we all want to make the right choice, indecisiveness often leads to a paralyzing cycle of overthinking and constantly second-guessing our decisions. It drains you of mental energy, and it also results in the loss of opportunities and definitely increases your stress. It erodes your self-confidence because you start to question your judgment and your ability to manage life's challenges. It's happened to all of us, right? Think about it. But it's crucial to differentiate between healthy deliberation and harmful indecisiveness. Now, healthy deliberation is a thoughtful consideration of your options, making an informed, well-informed choice. But the latter, indecisiveness, is a more chronic, pervasive form of doubt, which stops you from taking action. It generates anxiety, it creates doubt. So recognizing and addressing the root cause of indecisiveness, be it fear, lack of information, emotional imbalances, mental stresses, this is the first step towards taking decisive action towards a more fulfilling life. So why are we indecisive? Let's find out. Now, the psychology of indecisiveness is a fascinating realm that often intersects with our fears, self-perceptions, and past experiences. Now, one of the primary psychological underpinnings of indecisiveness is the fear of making the wrong choice. This fear is not just about the decision at hand, but it traces back to deeper concerns like, what is my self-worth? Fear of judgment from others. What will they say? And the fear of failure. What if I fail? And all the disappointment that surrounds that. Why does fear paralyze us? You know, I've written a book on fear, right? Number one is cognitive dissonance. Making a decision often requires us to reconcile conflicting values or desires. And the mental discomfort experienced during this process can make our decision making excruciatingly painful. It's like going for a tooth extraction. The second one is analysis paralysis. I talk about this all the time. The more options, the more information, the harder it becomes to make a decision. Because we human beings like choice, and we become so preoccupied with making the perfect choice that we end up not making a choice at all, like me in the ice cream parlor. It's happened to you. You go to a store and you can't pick out a dress or a pair of trousers. The next one is risk aversion. We humans are wired to avoid risks because it signals death. So the prospect of making a wrong choice and facing a negative consequence can trigger paralyzing fear, because fear is the undertone of this. The next one is perfectionism. Those who strive for perfection are often the most indecisive because the fear of making an error in judgment is magnified. This fear stems from the internal belief that one wrong move will confirm that they are inadequate. And there's no such thing as perfection, right? What about anticipatory anxiety? This is the anxiousness or the anxiety we feel about the potential future outcomes. It causes us to dwell excessively on what if, often making decision-making a real source of distress. Next is social validation. Human beings are social creatures. So sometimes the fear of making a choice is exacerbated by the perceived judgment of others. What will my mother say? What will my father say if I make the wrong choice? Now, overcoming the paralysis, understanding the psychology behind indecisiveness is the first step to overcome it. You need to be aware, you need to have knowledge. Self-awareness exercises, mindfulness practices that I teach, and techniques like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, can offer you insights into your decision-making patterns, because we all have a pattern. Understand why are you indecisive, and that can help you to address the root issue. Is it a fear of failure? Is it a desire for social approval? Is it something else entirely? It could be the fear of success. Acknowledging that no choice will ever be perfect, and mistakes are a part of life. And often valuable parts of the journey can be liberating. It's not eradicating fear, but building a healthier relationship with fear so that it no longer paralyzes you. Remember the title of my book? Okay, now let's understand some quick tips and strategies to overcome this crippling habit of indecisiveness. So moving from being indecisive to taking concrete decisions can be challenging. But when we break it down into actionable baby steps, the process can seem more manageable. You know I'm all about baby steps, right? So here's a guide that can help you navigate that fog of uncertainty. Step number one, identify the decision that you have to make. Clearly define what is the decision about. Put pen to paper, write down the choices available to you. Now, when we write with our hand, it creates new neural pathways. It jogs our brain. And then when we write, it's like a real feel of what we're going through. Typing on a computer doesn't help us that much. So when you put pen to paper, just make it like a brain dump and see what comes out. You will see a pattern there. And then you'll be able to take a decision. Step number two, deadline. Pick a date and a time by which you will make a decision. Use a calendar or a timer. Use reminders. Hold yourself accountable. Have an accountability partner. You know, we think that time is stretchable. We always think we can achieve more in a longer period of time and less in a shorter period of time. But who says that's true? That doesn't have to be true. That doesn't have to be your reality. Be accountable. Hold yourself accountable and be strict with yourself, because that's the only way you will be able to make a decision. Take a decision on that date no matter what. Even if you make a mistake, at least you've kept your promise to yourself. The next is to gather information. Research. Gather information. This information can help you make a choice. Don't go overboard. Just stick to the most relevant and reliable sources of information. Use ChatGPT, use Google, whatever. Don't get overwhelmed. Talk to a friend, read a book, get authentic information. Because information, when used, is power. Information sitting on a shelf is just shelf help, not self-help, right? Like Jim Quick says. Get relevant details about what do you want, how are you going to get it. When you take action by being proactive and being prepared, decision making becomes easy and you don't feel overwhelmed by it. Step number 4, pros and cons. For each option, make a list of its advantages and its disadvantages. Really be honest with yourself here. Be as comprehensive and as detailed as possible. No one can tell you what is good for you, not even your twin, definitely not your parents, most certainly not your friends, and definitely no, not on social media or social influencers. You are unique, my precious person. You know what's good for you. Use your heart, it's your compass. You know what's right and wrong for you. Put that down on paper and weigh the pros and cons of your decision. Number 5, prioritize factors. Not all pros and cons carry the same weight. Assign a level of importance to each of the factors that you've put down on paper. Evaluate your options objectively with this information. Once you start to do this, it'll become easy. And don't overthink it. When you look at the pros and cons, just close your eyes and on a scale of 1 to 10, see where you stand. Everything that's closer to 10 means it's causing you great stress and anxiety. So put that off for later. Whatever is closer to a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that's where you need to start. That's a simple strategy that I always use. I trust my instinct. As soon as I count down, I go for it. Step number 6 is consult trusted advisors. Get a coach or a mentor whose opinion you value. Remember, at the end of it, it's not the coach or mentor's decision, but it's yours. But external perspectives from somebody who you admire, who's knowledgeable, who's going to help you, can offer you valuable insights. I don't suggest you do this too much with friends or with family because they're quite biased, and it's not their fault that they're biased. Or they have certain opinions of you which may or may not be true. But when you go to a professional, the professional does not have any vested interest that may harm you. They're very objective. They're not subjective. So I would say get professional help from a trained professional. Look at their certifications. Step number 7 is to tune into your emotional and energetic alignment. The best way to do this is to quieten your mind. Tune in to each option, see how it feels. Is your energy flowing naturally towards it? Does one option resonate with you more? Do you feel more joy? What are your core values? What is your emotional state? When you are in a state of alignment, when you take a few deep breaths and you put your hands on your heart and you go deep within in your meditation and you ask those important questions, your energy will naturally open up and tell you. You might feel constricted when it's a no. You might feel open when it's a yes. You might feel cold or hot. You have to see, what are you feeling? Go with feeling. Don't go with constant analysis, which will paralyze you. Go with a feeling, because that's where your truth is. Trust your gut. Trust your intuition. Step number 8. Visualize the outcome. Imagine yourself living out each option. Note how each scenario is making you feel. Does one feel clearly better than the other? When you visualize through something that I call imagineering, when you can see it, feel it, taste it, touch it, smell it, be it, live in that moment. It's actually happening. That's when you'll know this is it, or maybe not. I can do much better. This is not the right way to go. Learn to depend on yourself. Don't depend on others. Step number 9. Make the decision, for God's sakes. After going through all these above steps, it's time to make a decision. Trust your research. Trust your emotional gauge. Trust your gut feeling and make a choice. It's like reading books constantly, listening to podcasts, watching your favorite personal development gurus, going to a retreat, going to a self-healing workshop. and then taking absolutely no action. Is that going to help you? Because like I said, knowledge is potential power. But taking action on the knowledge that you have, that is power, because only action is going to change your life. And I keep saying this all the time. Do it. Take a decision. Step number 10, take immediate action. Once you've made a decision, take immediate action, no matter how small, just to confirm the choice. Napoleon Hill talks about this in Think and Grow Rich. This will solidify your decision and break that cycle of indecisiveness, which also is related to procrastination. You know, most people procrastinate because they don't have clarity, because they are not sure, because they feel like they can't do it. Now that you've sussed it out with these 9 steps, you're so clear, you're crystal clear. This is the time that you need to take action. Don't waste time. Trust yourself. Even if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. Everyone has made mistakes. Step number 11, reflect and adjust after taking action. Reflect on how is this decision impacting you. Did I make a mistake? Be open to making adjustments if necessary, but don't second guess yourself too much. We do ourselves a huge disservice by constantly beating up on ourselves. And I'm all about self-love, especially when I was in show business. I was so hard on myself. I literally hated myself and everything I thought, felt, and did. And coming from that space, I can tell you, it's not a nice space to live in. Even if you make a mistake, you will respect yourself more when you take a decision. A mistake is something that you did because you didn't know better, right? So forgive yourself and move ahead. By following these steps, you turn this daunting task of decision making into a very structured, logical process. It allows you to arrive at a very well-considered decision, freeing you from the paralysis of indecisiveness. And like I said, even if you make a mistake, you know better, so you won't do it again. No one repeats their mistakes unless they're really out of touch with who they are. Please go at your own pace. Find your triggers. Analyze and resolve any mistakes. Please understand that there's no one shot and the first time you got to do it right. Even athletes make mistakes before they win that cup. Maybe get a trained coach or a mentor. I mean, every athlete, every big business person every big company has a coach and a mentor. There's no shame in reaching out for help. Professionals are there to help you. I meet so many people and they all feel this thing about, should I, shouldn't I? Book that free call with me. Number 1, it's free. Number 2, you're going to get some clarity. You may get more than you really thought that you were going to get from that free call, because I am a trained professional in all of the protocols that I mentioned in the beginning. Please like, subscribe, and share this channel with people. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button, and don't forget to watch my videos here and to share this, because this helps the algorithm send this video out to people who can't afford the services of a coach, because coaches and mentors also need to get paid for their services. We can only do it free to a certain extent, and this is my way of doing this free. If you enjoyed this video, then I'm sure you're going to enjoy the video that I've listed right here. So get ready to manifest miracles in your life. Get ready to be one of those people where, that people talk about and say, that guy, that girl, she's so sure of herself. She's so decisive. She's so powerful. Stay true to being you. Atma Namaste from my heart to yours. You matter, and never ever forget that.